One of the biggest mistakes I made when I just got started reselling was thinking I already knew what was popular, what brands were trendy, and what to pick up. I went sourcing, got it listed, and it did not go so well. Things sat around for a very long time and the final profit was just not worth it. And then I got to thinking, there is something that these experienced resellers know that I don't know. So I started watching their content, the thrift hauls, the what solds, and I started getting a lot of brand knowledge that helped a lot when I went out sourcing. I started getting better at items that I picked up and they started performing a lot better. But after becoming a lot more acquainted with the Poshmark app, I started figuring out new ways to do my brand and trends research. I do still watch some content, but my favorite way to figure out what is selling right now on these reselling sites is right on the Poshmark app. So today I'm going to share 6 ways that I use the Poshmark app to research brands and styles that are going to sell in a fast time frame and that are going to leave a decent profit. I am going to show you everything on the computer just because I feel like the screen will be a lot bigger. You'll be able to follow along a lot better with what I'm doing. There's going to be a lot of clicking around and things like that. But at the end of the video, I will share real quick where you can find all of these things on your phone as well. Because most of the time, that's where I'm doing my research. Right on the phone, not on the computer all the time. Although sometimes I do. The first way that I like to do research on Poshmark is by going to this little section right here called Today's Trends. This changes every single day, so it is always up to date and fresh with what's trending. So here's what today's trend says. It is seasonal transition. Get your fall wardrobe in check with the best of summer to fall transitional pieces to start incorporating into your wardrobe. And here's the different categories that Poshmark has chosen. Backless sweaters, vintage sheer blouses, leather knee-high boots, black oversized, I guess this is button-down shirts, white pleated mini skirts, oversized baggy jeans. So 2 things from this. First off, these are some of the pieces that you should be on the lookout for when you go out sourcing, because this is what's trending right now on Poshmark and elsewhere, I am sure. Second, these are awesome keywords to add to your titles and descriptions when you do have things that apply here. And then also, there are 6 categories here, but on the Poshmark app on your phone, there are a few more. I'm not sure why on the computer it shows less, but to learn even more about these trends, you can always click into it, and then you will see all the listings that apply to this trend right here. So I would just scroll through here and kind of look for patterns, similarities, repetitions. Pay special attention to brands that you've never heard before. For example, Hot Cotton. This is a button-down shirt that is listed for $50. That is a high amount for a shirt. I've never heard of this brand, so then I would click into it. I check it out, and most importantly, what I want to see is this tag right here. I am a visual learner, so I'd like to see what the tag looks like. That way, when I'm out and about, I will have a better chance of recognizing it. We will talk about these filters as we move through the video, but one very important filter you want to always use when doing research on Poshmark is this sold items. That way, you can get a better idea of what is actually selling when it comes to this trend. You can also get a better idea of what price points you can expect for the different types of brands. And again, I would just scroll through here and make a mental note of any new brands. If I see a certain color coming up again and again, a certain pattern, those are the things that I want to take note of. And you can do this mentally, or better yet, you can keep a journal beside you or an app where you can take notes so that you're able to reference them later and they're fresh on your mind when you go out sourcing. Way number 2 that I like to do research is using Poshmark Parties. And these are parties that happen virtually right on the app. They have several parties each day and each party has a theme. So they have preppy, designer, or outdoor parties. Sometimes they'll do plus size, jeans, or activewear. And this is just a way for Poshmark to group like items together. And if you have an item that applies to the theme, you can share it to that party. And that way buyers who are interested in that aesthetic or that fashion style can go to one single place and find what they're looking for. Some parties are very specific. This one that is coming up, for example, is called streetwear, and it has to be a specific brand in order for it to apply to this party. But then there are some that are a little bit more general. This one that is happening at 2 p.m. today is best in dresses. So it doesn't have to be a specific brand, just any dress and any skirt you can share to this party. Here we have home and picture perfect party that is happening at 9 o'clock. Most of the time, the 9 o'clock parties are very general. You can share almost anything to those. Scrolling down here, you can see that these are parties that happened in the past. Here's this one that happened last night that is called Bold and Bright Posh Party. Once I click into it, this is what it looks like. And with these parties that are more general, where people can share lots of different kinds of items, I basically just do the same thing as before, scroll through and kind of see what people are listing. And then I will definitely always use this sold filter here to see what has actually sold. Another thing I like to do here with these general parties is use a filter to help me see more specific items. So I really don't want to see Louis Vuitton or Burberry or those expensive things that I'm probably never going to come across. Like this here, Tiffany & Co. That's something I'm never going to come across, more than likely. So I come here to this price filter and put a minimum price of about, let's say $25 and a max price of about $150. When I go out sourcing, I'm more than likely going to find these kind of items that are in that price range. So then I will do the same thing as before, scroll through, look around, pay special attention to brands I don't know. Here is one, Monroe. I've never heard of that brand. So then I'll just click here and open this in a new tab so that I can go check out this brand. This leads us to this brand's page and I can see more about this brand, what kind of stuff are listed and for how much. Then I can go to sold and see what these items are selling for. I can see what sells the most. Is it pants, shorts, shirts? And most importantly, I will click into it and see the actual brand tag. As for parties that are a little bit more specific, for example, this active wear party, I will click into it and do the same thing. But then also what I like to do is click on view party details, and that will bring about the brands that are allowed into this active wear party. I will take a screenshot of all of these brands and have it on my phone so that I'm able to review them often and I can remember them when I'm outsourcing. Because in my mind, if Poshmark is making a party around these brands, that means that these brands are popular, people are searching for them, people are purchasing these items. Here on my phone, I do have a photo album that I named Poshmark, and this is where I keep all of my screenshots of these brand specific posh parties. That way I'm able to reference them at any time, and most of the time that's while I'm in line waiting for the thrift store to open. That's when I take the time to look over these brands and to do the other research methods that we'll be talking about. And I cannot tell you how many times I come across a brand while I'm outside researching, and then I go inside to start sourcing and I find that very brand. So all of these research activities really do come in handy. They are really helpful and they have helped me grow my brand knowledge and in turn my reselling business. But before we move on from this little section, I do really want to emphasize that brand is not everything. Brand is a great starting point, but there are many other things that you have to take into consideration when you're trying to decide whether to pick up an item or not. You have to take into account the season we're in, what size the item is, how old of a style it is, and so many other things. I recently uploaded a video where I share my sourcing checklist and I just kind of go into detail everything that I look for in an item. So I think you'll find that video helpful as well. I'll leave it linked down in the description. The third way that I do research on Poshmark is by researching other people's Poshmark closets that live near me. And I'm going to have to show you on my phone. I've never seen this feature on the website before. I'm not sure if I just don't know how to get to it, but I'm pretty sure that's because it's only available on the phone app. And the reason I like to do this is because chances are if I live near a seller who's doing well, who's listing a lot, selling a lot of items on Poshmark, I should be able to find the same brands and styles that person is, since we live in the same area. This may not always be the case because that person could be doing wholesale, they could be shopping online or going out of town to do their sourcing, who knows. But I think it's worth a look to look into people who live near you and what they're selling, what they're doing, what their strategies are. To find these sellers that live near you, you'll want to go to this shop option at the bottom of the app. Scroll all the way to the bottom and there is a little section that says discover people. You're going to tap on my city, and from there what you want to do is use the filters that are towards the top right here, and you're going to click on that arrow that is going up and an arrow that is going down. Then you can select active sellers. That way you're shown only sellers that have lots of listings that are actually active on the app. And then you'll just scroll through and find someone who has a large amount of listings. I'm going to go ahead and click on this account here that is Jennifer. And from here, you're going to do the same things that we've done previously. Scroll through, see what kind of brands they're picking up. Pay special attention to those brands that are listed for high amounts. And most definitely, you always want to go to the filters, which is this cone looking thing at the top right. And at the very bottom, you see this option that says availability. We'll tap on that and switch it from all items to sold items instead. And again, just scroll through here and see what is doing good for this seller and what is not, what is selling for high amounts and low amounts. That way you get an idea of both ends of the spectrum and you can kind of get a sense of the type of brands you want to avoid and the type of brands you probably want to pick up when you're outsourcing yourself. Number 4 is also Poshmark closets from other sellers, but this time we're looking into experienced sellers. So sellers who have 5, 6, 7,000 listings. Those are the kind of sellers we want to research and we want to see into their closets to get a better idea of the kind of things we should also be on the lookout for and we should also be picking up. To find experienced resellers, you can just go around clicking on the app. Maybe on your feed, you can click into someone's closet and then you can see whether they have a lot of listings or not. You can use these filters on the side to narrow down what you look out for. So if you only shop for women or men, you can select that category there. You can also set the minimum and the max price like we've done before, and also make sure to always see what items have sold. So that is one way you can come across experienced sellers. But what I like to do is just go to the Poshmark pages of YouTubers I watch. This right here is Evernote, and it is just the app that I use to keep my notes. And I have a note called Poshmark Closets to Research. Here I have linked all of my favorite YouTubers' closets. So when I'm ready to do some research, all I have to do is come here, click the link, and it will lead me directly to their closets. And from here, it's the same scenario as before. I just want to see what they're listing recently. So to do that, I will switch this from just shared to just in. And then I can scroll through the closet. And I like switching it to just in because that lets me know what is selling fast. This Athleta Soft Moto stretch dress, she just listed it and it just sold. So more than likely this is a fast seller for her. Here we have some more things that sold fast. Maybe she could have relisted it and that could mess with the results a bit, but most of it's probably things that she just listed and it sold really quick for her. So those are some of the things that I'm looking out for when I'm doing research on other people's closets. And again, I will use these filters when necessary. If the closet is extremely large and all I want to see is women, then I will select that. If I just want to look into items that sold for $35 or less, I'll put that there. And I will always select sold to see what is actually selling in this person's closet. The next thing we're going to talk about is similar to what we've been discussing, Poshmark closets, But this time you're going to look into your own closet, because it is good to see what is doing well for others, but you always have to bring it back home and figure out what is working for you, what is doing well for you. So to get to your closet, you're going to click on your profile picture, go to my closet, and what I like to do is use the filter just in. And from here, what I will basically do is just slowly scroll through my closet and get an idea of what is selling well for me, what is selling fast, what is sticking around for a long time. So I don't scroll all the way to the bottom of my closet, but I just go back a handful of items, maybe a few thrift trips ago, to get a better sense of how my things are performing. And I do keep a spreadsheet where I document everything, but just having a visual representation and kind of being able to see everything at a glance gives me a better idea of what is doing well and what is not. Sometimes when I'm out thrifting, I think to myself, I know I bought this before, I can't remember if it sold or not. So just taking a quick moment to look over my closet just gives me a refresher and reminds me of the kind of things that are performing well for me. By the way, that is one of the main reasons I like to mark my items as not for sale instead of deleting them when they sell on another platform. That way I can always come to my Poshmark closet and in one single place kind of see what is performing well for me. And like with all the other methods, you can always use the filters off to the side to research certain parts of your closet. So you can click on a certain brand to see how it's done for you. So here's all the Adriana Papel things that I've listed. I have one dress available. All of the other items have sold. I can kind of see in one single screen how this brand has performed for me, what it sells for. This is just a great way to quickly dig into your closet and see what is actually performing well for you and the kind of items that maybe you want to avoid because they've been sitting for long or maybe they sold for low amounts. The number 6 way, and probably the most important kind of research you should be doing on Poshmark, is by going into their Posh Markets. To get to the Posh Markets, you can click on this little arrow here and you can see the different markets that Poshmark has set up. So we have women, men's, electronics. We even have plus size, boutiques, and wholesale. So just select the one that you sell the most. For me, that would just be women. Sometimes I sell men's, but not often. So most of my research happens here in the women's section. You can also get to the Posh Markets by clicking these little hyperlinks right here. And every time you click one, you will see that the Posh Market is broken down into further categories down here. There are 2 important things you want to pay attention to here. The first is categories that align with the season we're going into. So right now we're leaving summer and we're heading to fall. So some of the research that I will be doing is here under clothing, and I will be heading to sweaters. Other kind of research you can do is accessories and scarves. I'm sure that during the fall, these kind of things is what's going to be selling. If we were just heading into summer or if we were in the middle of summer, I would be researching under clothing and swim. I'd also be searching maybe hats over here, things that align with the hot weather. The second important thing to pay attention to under these Posh Markets are trending styles. Each category has its own trending style. This is what's trending for women right now. Over here's what's trending for men. There's even trending under beauty and wellness, kids, home. Everything has a trending category, I believe. So make sure to look into those because those are the things that are hot and selling right now according to Poshmark. And some of these things are pretty specific. Like this one down here says Old Navy blue dresses. Who would have thought that was trending at the moment? So let's click into one and start doing some research. I'm going to click into sweaters. From here, I'm going to use all of the filters possible to narrow down my search results. So I don't only want to see sweaters, I want to see specifically cardigan. I want to see cardigans that are listed at a minimum price of about $30. And I want to see the ones that have sold. And let's put just in, that way it can show me the ones that were just listed and sold right away. And again, like before, we're just going to scroll through. Click into things that catch your eye. Click look into brands you don't know. Make sure you look at that brand tag. Pay attention to colors, patterns, and brands that pop up again and again. The very first item I see here is a Disney item that is Halloween themed. This thing sold for $110. So if I were to see something like this at a thrift store and it was priced up high, I'd be more inclined to look into it because I saw before that it can sell for high amounts. Here's something else that catches my eye. This is just a Zara top. Zara is something I can find very cheap at the thrift store, but certain pieces are worth more than others. Here is one that has balloon puff sleeves, so that is something I'll look into when I'm at the thrift store. If I see a balloon puff sleeve shirt, whether it's Zara or not, I'm going to look into it because I see that it's sold for a lot here on Poshmark. I see a lot of prints here. I see this printed, this here, this over here is like a cheetah print or something. So prints is something to be on the lookout for. This brand I know about, Barefoot Dreams, but I didn't always know about it. I learned about it because I kept seeing it again and again. So if you've never heard of this brand, it'd be a good idea to go ahead and click into it. I like to open my things up in a new tab. That way I can get back to where I was once I'm done researching this brand. So I'll just click into it, open link in new tab, and here it takes us to the Barefoot Dreams page on Poshmark. And from here you can further see how these pieces perform. You can use the filters to narrow your searches. Another thing that I see here that probably isn't groundbreaking, but there's a lot of black cardigans that have sold recently. A lot of darks, a lot of grays. So you get the point here. Basically, you just want to immerse yourself into the Poshmark app and look into all these different categories, all these different sections on Poshmark. And the more you do this, the more you will start to learn what kind of things are trending right now. And these things change often. These pages are updated often. So if we do the same research a week or two from now, we're going to see different things on the trending pages, different things on the solds. So it is important to do this kind of research very often to keep things fresh in your mind. That way you can make better choices when you're outsourcing and you can have more faster sales. Before I wrap up this video, I do want to quickly show you where you can find all of these things on the phone, on the Poshmark app, because not everyone is always near a computer. And like I said, I like to do my research when I have some free time, whether I'm in a car ride or outside waiting in line. Everything we talked about can be found here on this shop option at the bottom of the app. So you're just going to tap this little magnifying glass icon and scroll down, and eventually you'll start seeing everything we talked about. Here you'll see today's trends, and you can scroll through and see everything that is trending today. You can scroll down and there you will see the Posh Markets. We have women's, kids, men's, home, pets. Scrolling down some more, eventually you will see the Posh Parties as well. You can click into all parties here at the right, this little red text, and you will see all of the parties that are going to happen and the parties that have happened in the past. And then all the way at the bottom is where you will see Poshmark closets of ambassadors, of people who live in your city, and all sorts of different categories. So that is a wrap on this video that I've been wanting to record for a very long time. Actually, I did record it once before, but I ended up losing those files. I recently found them, but I thought, you know what, let me just go ahead and record it again and be more to the point and try to be more specific. Hopefully I was able to accomplish that. It may have been a little bit repetitive because I do very similar things with each method, but nonetheless, I really hope that this video has helped you out, that you try out these methods, that you're able to find great finds out there in the wild. If you found any value at all in this video, make sure to give this video a thumbs up down below. That helps my channel and it helps other people who are looking for this kind of content find this video as well. And that's all for me today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.